Good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming. I sent out a topic interest survey to the St. James staff a couple weeks ago, asking what subject that you would want to have for a professional development. And the number one response was on motivating and engaging students. So I have come up with a year-long professional development plan, and today we're just going to be discussing the first session. So our first session is going to be on brain-based instructional strategies on motivating and engaging students. Our time today will start with a short presentation on 4 brain-based instructional strategies. You guys have some handouts where you can take notes if you'd like. And then we will have time to collaborate with your PLC groups on these strategies. During the next few weeks, we will be doing peer observations, and then we'll meet back at the end of the month to reflect and discuss what we've learned. Engagement is the visible outcome of motivation. I wanted to start with this quote because motivation and engagement go hand in hand. If you are engaged in the learning, you will be motivated to learn. These are the 4 brain-based learning facts that we're going to talk about during this session. The first one is environment. Students must feel safe, loved, and happy to learn. The next one is novelty or attention. Novelty cues the brain to pay attention. Choice connects meaning and relevance and helps the brain remember. And conversation, listening, hearing, and speaking helps expand our thinking. The quote on the bottom says, teachers need to use instructional strategies that connect to students' emotions. All of these brain-based learning facts do connect to emotions. We have the environment where the kids feel safe and loved and comfortable. The novelty is getting their attention, getting them excited about the learning. Choice, another one that it brings excitement because they get to choose what they want to do, what they enjoy. And conversation, being social and collaborative. The first one we're going to go into a little more detail with is creating a supportive environment. Let's watch this little video and then we will discuss. So, reaching their full potential. Isn't that what it's really all about? And to think that we can do that just by setting a positive, encouraging, supportive environment. Research says a supportive environment can make all the difference when it comes to motivating students. The brain cannot learn if it does not feel safe and loved. We have a list here of strategies that can be used in your classroom to create this supportive environment. The first one is love. If you ask the students in your class, does my teacher love me? What would they say? Having high expectations that are attainable. That is important to motivate students. Excitement. If you come to school sleepy and tired, then they're going to be sleepy and tired. So showing that excitement in the classroom. Humor. It's good for the brain. It's good for the soul. And safety. They have to feel safe. They have to feel respected and have an inclusive, loving environment. Okay, the next one is seeking novelty or attention. Our brains need something that is going to grab its attention. The brain of the student today has changed because of video games and technology. It is actually being rewired. The rapidly changing messages on video games and on phones has our brains constantly seeking novelty. A way to engage the brain is to use varied teaching approaches, multisensory instruction, including a few of these that I have listed here. And the quote above, I would like, it says, "We cannot learn, remember, or understand what we don't give our attention to." So we need to make sure that we're doing things to grab the attention of our students. You can do call and response to get them to focus on the next thing that's coming up. Music and transitions, or music in the curriculum, maybe a reading strategy that's to a song. Attention getting quotes, videos, poems, visuals to start off a lesson, just to grab their attention in the beginning and help their brains focus, using some technology and educational games. We're going to watch a short video on student choice.
We know that student choice leads to increased engagement, but student choice is about more than just menu options. It's about empowerment. So here are 10 ways to empower your students with choice. Let students choose their own route. Let them decide which strategies they want to use. Let students choose the materials and the resources. Let students choose the topics or themes based upon what they geek out about. Let them ask questions based upon their own sense of wonder. Let students choose the format for their projects. Let them choose the scaffolding. If you provide the tutorials, they can decide when and how to use them. Let them work at their own pace. Let students engage in self-assessment. Let them choose the audience for their creative work. This could be local or global. Let students manage their projects, breaking down tasks and setting deadlines. A little nuance here. Teachers still need to make decisions. They have the expertise and wisdom that students need. But when teachers incorporate choice, students grow into the lifelong learners we know that they can be.
Okay. All right, so it said student choice leads to student engagement, and another quote is incorporate choice. Students will grow into lifelong learners. You might be wondering why. Well, the brain is more engaged when it has a stake in the learning. Students love choice. They love to get to pick what they want to do, what interests them. And choice gives meaning and relevance to the learning. It connects their personal life to the learning. When choice not only engaged but motivated because they are doing what they want to do. It not only engages them but also motivates them because they get to choose. Sometimes you can't let them choose when it comes to curriculum options, but there's other ways of having choice in the classroom. You can let them choose where to sit. You can let them choose what to write about during a writing assignment. They can choose to sit or stand. They can choose the topic or theme about an assignment. And the assessments could have some choice. If they wanted to write a song to demonstrate their knowledge, or write a paper, do a project, do a PowerPoint, a brochure, a poster, there's many different ways that they could use choice to on an assessment for their learning. Now we are going to take a little brain break. Brain break is another strategy to motivate and engage students. It is important to change the focus of the learner. Movement is a really important one for children to activate and to stimulate the brain. So right now, you may choose one of the following, and you can take a little stretch, stand up, give yourself a little break, and you may choose one of the following. Tell someone next to you your favorite brain-based instructional strategy for motivation and engagement so far. Tell someone next to you a brain-based strategy that you use in your classroom that might be different. Or tell someone next to you that you are ready for this professional development to be over. So either one, you pick, and do a little stretch and stand up if you need to, and I'll give you 1 minute. You may begin.
What's my favorite? I like the choice. I think that's good. That's really powerful. I see that, and then they get to choose what they want to read. And reading, they're so much more engaged and telling them what to read. So.
I like to use humor, although it's a little tricky because some students or groups of students, the humor can get them off task and a little bit too wiggly. But I also really like kinesthetic learning because that's what I respond to personally really well. I oftentimes don't really internalize something until I do it. So I like to get students out of their desks and moving around.
So the classroom. Glad they do a lot of gestures. So we try and do those. Those are fun.
Oh, Brooke's been doing that with the strong learning environment.
Oh yeah.
She's been doing it at home.
We've been making strong learning environments. She has one for multiplication too, but it's fun. Like I don't feel like we repeat it enough that they are able. But when we do it together, it's nice. But yeah, you could ask her. I think it has to do with it's multiplication is repeated addition. Right? That's it. See, and I forget. That's the other thing. I make up these things, and the next day I'm like, what did we say?
That's okay, because you also have 1 or 2 students in your classroom who are happy
Who
to tell
does
you
remember
exactly
that? That's true. They
what
do
you're
remember.
saying.
Multiplication. Addition.
Hello, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's change the slide. And so what I did there was I gave you a little brain break. I gave you a choice on what to talk about, and you had a conversation. All brain-based strategies to get you engaged and motivated into the learning. See, it's easy. So conversations are the last one we're going to talk about. And conversations are so important for the brain because talking internalizes what the students have learned. Active processing is necessary to learning. It also engages the students because they have to speak and listen. It is interactive and collaborative. Some of these strategies to motivate learners are to do the think, pair, share, which a lot of us are familiar with. You have a question and they get think time and they share with the partner and then they can share with the class. Graphic organizers are a way of talking and communicating and graphing things out for them to better understand. Small group work, they get to work together. Reciprocal teaching is where they get to teach each other, which kids love. A turn and talk is something similar to what you guys just did. And then questioning, letting them explore and ask questions for what is important and interesting to them. So conversations are a great way of learning, and I hope that you guys got some learning just out of that small conversation and sharing ideas with each other. All right, so now it is your turn. The next part of our professional development is going to be based on conversation. I will put you into your PLC groups and give you a handout to guide your conversations. You'll have 1 hour to meet and discuss the 4 A's of our topic, brain-based strategy for motivation and engagement. And I'll discuss the 4 A's in a moment. The last questions on the form will ask what strategies you do very well in your own classroom and which strategies would you actually like to see in action. Over the next few weeks, everyone will do a couple classroom observations. And then next month, we'll meet to collaborate and reflect on what we have learned during our observations and our conversations. Our goal for our next session is to implement at least one of these brain-based strategies on motivation and engagement into your classroom. The 4 A's, this is just a guiding tool to help guide your conversation. Try to spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes per question on 1 through 4. What are the assumptions you have about the new learning? What did you think before we had this presentation? Do you agree with the new learning? Do you think it's going to work? What can you argue about the new learning? Is there something you're doubting? What do you aspire to do with the new learning? What would you like to see happen in your classroom? And then when you're done with that, the bottom questions are, what strategies do you use for motivating students in your class? Please share with your PLC. And even if it's a strategy that motivates and that is engaging, that has not been mentioned today. And what would you like to observe from motivating students in one of your peers' classroom? What would you like to see in action? Because it's different just talking about it and seeing it actually in the classroom with students. When we're finished, we're gonna meet back up. I'm gonna collect the handouts when you're done, and we will set up our observations so you can see engaging motivational strategies in your peers' classrooms. Because like I said, hearing about it in this professional development is one thing, but actually seeing it in action with students, hopefully it will motivate you too. Teachers who love teaching teach children to love learning. And isn't this what it's really all about? To inspire lifelong learners through motivating and engaging instructional strategies. Thank you very much, and we will meet back in 1 hour. Thank you.